Hey everybody, Carl here with Pave Chaser. Thanks for joining the channel today. The topic of today's video is going to be motorcycle camping on an extreme budget. If you follow the channel, you know I do lots of motorcycle travel, camping, adventuring, basically getting out on two wheels and exploring and experiencing this wide, wonderful world of ours. I did a video on the ultimate motorcycle camping setup. You can check that out if you like to see what my setup looks like completely decked out. Today's video is going to be just a little bit different. Basically what brought this on is I had an unfortunate event happen to me about a week and a half ago. Recently I built out a Ford Transit cargo van into a motorcycle hauler slash camper adventure wagon, and I was out testing it in Ontario, about 1,500 kilometers from where I live. On the way home, I pulled over at a rest stop in Quebec, and the next morning when I went to start it, it was broken. I had to have it towed to a dealership. They could only look at it in 3 weeks. All of my camping gear is inside the van. So I went out and picked up a few basic items. I'm going to show you how you can get out on your motorcycle, go camp, have some fun, and you don't need to break the bank. Everything I'm going to be using on this camping trip is all in this tail bag. It's going to be a good time. Oh, and did I forget to mention, I'm also going to be using the smallest motorcycle that you can probably get your hands on. I'm going to be using my brand new 2023 Honda Grom. This is a 125cc mini bike. This video should prove that you do not need a lot of gear to have fun, and you don't even need a big motorcycle to have fun. So why don't we get to her? There we go, all set up. I should mention, in addition to the tail bag, I do have this Nelson Riggs bag here to hold a water jug for some extra water. I'd like a large half milk.
Large half milk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are finally leaving the city. I don't actually know how fast this motorcycle can go. They say 110 kilometers an hour, but I've only ever had it in the city. We're gonna find out. I'm not on a highway or anything, but we got some big hills coming up. Oh, we're at the 90 zone. I'm doing 90. Oh, I'm losing juice for 90. I've got her pinned. We're pinned, and I got traffic behind me. I might have to pull over on this big hill. Ah, they can pass. Chum out, there they go. Good, they're not bashful. Alright, well at the end of this little trail that I was driving on, I kind of found this little clearing, which looks like it might be a good spot to set up for the evening. I do not have any luxury camping gear, so I need to be a little creative and use the resources I have around me. Here I got some nice soft moss. I also noticed there's lots of ferns out here to make some bedding. I think what I'm going to do is go right in here. That to me seems like the safest place to set up a little camp for the night. Okay, a little budget update for the camping trip so far. Campsite free. I do not have a tent with me. However, I do have a tarp. This is a woods tarp. It's about 10 foot by 6.5 feet. Price, $29. So I'm gonna start by clearing out an access point. I'm gonna build a nice little berm around where I'm gonna put my makeshift tent for the evening, just to keep larger animals, to discourage larger animals from, you know, traipsing through. Looks pretty good to me. Not really the right color for stealth camping, but we're pretty much in the middle of nowhere, so I think we'll be okay. Okay, I'm also gonna need some rope. So I got some 15 meters of nylon rope here, $9. And I have some scrap nylon rope that I had laying around, free. Now I don't actually have a sleeping bag. Instead, I have this emergency bivvy. This is by Sol, S-O-L. Price tag on this, $23. Now this is gonna serve two purposes actually, because I've already had this laying around. I've been carrying this around with me for like as long as I can remember, but I've never actually tested to see how well they work. And they say that it reflects 90% of body heat. It's supposed to go down to about 10 or 12 degrees Celsius tonight, so it's not really cold, but it's certainly not balmy. So we're gonna see how well this works as a sleeping bag. Now, because this has absolutely zero padding, I'm gonna have to build some sort of a bedding system here. The ground is kind of spongy, so it's not too bad. So before I actually go ahead and set up my tarp tent, I'm gonna build the area that I'll be laying in, and then I will build that over on top of it. So to make the bed, I'm gonna just take a couple of these saplings, and they're about an inch and a half in diameter. They're a little springy, which is what I want for the bed system. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut 2 poles, 7.5, 8 feet long. These are about 30 inches, 36 inches apart. And now I'm gonna go get some sticks to lay in between it. Okay, so I've harvested a bunch of these sticks. Hopefully there's gonna be enough, because I've free protein right there. Hopefully there's enough here, because I'm losing daylight in the woods. And I'm going to start weaving some of these in this way. I think this is more of a nest than a bed. Yep. Good so far. I think what I'm going to do next is just get a few ferns, maybe a little bit of moss, just patch up a few areas and make it complete. Alright, so now I'll just lay some ferns out just to... I must say I did learn a lesson. Those ferns are extremely sharp when you're pulling on them. I gave myself a pretty good nick. I'm gonna go ahead and take this bivvy out, and we're gonna see what this looks like. So we got a nice little storage bag here. This is not bad for a sleeping bag, huh? Fits in the palm of your hand. I'm wondering if this is actually reusable. I will find that out in the morning. If it is, which I can't see why not. That would be pretty slick. We have a bed. Now I'm going to set up a ridge line. I'm going to try using rope for my top tent hanger as opposed to a pole, because it's 15 meters or about 45 feet long. And that'll be just enough to cover down to the ground. Looking good. Now I need some tent stakes, which I don't have, so I will be making those. Cost free. To make my tent pegs, I'm just going to take a few pieces of sapling and sharpen one end here. Okay, so the shelter is now fully completed. You can see behind me there are bugs everywhere, so I do have mosquito netting for my head. Price on this, I don't know. I will post it right there. Very important piece of gear to have. I did bring this dry bag because it's always handy to have a dry bag. That way, if it is raining, you can put your stuff in there and it keeps dry. But another neat little feature, you fill it up with air, and now you've got a handy air pillow. The price on this dry bag, $24. You probably can get them cheap on Amazon as well. So, and that will be my pillow for the evening. It's getting dark really quick here. I do have a light, and this is my Woods solar powered light. This is actually one of the few pieces of equipment that I had not put in the van, so I did grab that, and I'll throw the price up there because this is a super handy little light to have. And in the morning, I'm going to cook some breakfast up, and I'm going to show you a really inexpensive stove option. We'll see how that works. You know, I've had worse. It's so quiet here. It's quite nice to not have the never-ending drone of mosquito sound. I did have my mosquito net on last night like this, so I don't believe they got me much, but oh, let's try to get up here. The next piece of budget camping gear we have, my stove. This is a little propane stove. It's kind of like a knockoff of the MSR Pocket Rocket. This costs $17. Comes with a little case. The way this works is opens up like that. These flip open, so it opens up here. You have your stove. And of course you need a gas cylinder in order for this to work. $7. So the nice thing that this has that the MSR and the Optimus do not have is a little starter. Turn the gas on. We got a nice simmer control. And of course, we need a pot. I believe it was $50. Time to make some breakfast. Gonna have some peaches and cream oatmeal. Alright, so while that's boiling up, I'll give you a couple of my thoughts on the whole setup. So first off, this little stove that I got on Amazon, inexpensive and is working really well. Number two, this SOL emergency bivvy. My take on this is that's exactly what this is. This is great for an emergency. I don't believe this makes a good sleeping bag replacement. There's a couple pros and cons to it. First off, obviously there's no padding whatsoever. Number two is it is not breathable, so when you're in here your body's going to generate heat, and that's not going to be able to escape, and that's going to form condensation inside. So I found last night and this morning that the insides are quite damp, quite wet. However, I will add that it is a good option to keep the mosquitoes off you if you're in a situation where there's a lot of bugs. That was probably the main benefit to this, was keeping the bugs off me. As far as the makeshift tent goes, the tarp actually worked quite well. The bed system I made in there was plenty comfortable. It kept a lot of heat in there. The downside, again, going to the mosquitoes, is that it is not going to give you much protection from bugs. They're going to be able to get in. So I would say in a pinch, this is a camping setup that you could do. Probably more emergency style camping. Probably worth spending a little bit of extra money on a tent that's got a bug netting you can zip up, and probably a sleeping bag, a thin one that's going to give you a little bit of more breathability. But all in all, I was able to get out, go for a bike ride, camp overnight with relative comfort, and have everything I actually need. So hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I'm gonna finish up some breakfast, hop on the bike, and head back home. Thanks for watching, guys.